So good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming out to this very special sales training webinar tonight for Auto BTC Builder. My name is Dahlia Strada, and I am the president of Auto BTC Builder. The webinar tonight is Prospecting 101, which is 21 low-cost and no-cost ways to generate leads and sales. Again, I'm Dahlia Strada. On behalf of myself and the company and our founder and CEO, Mr. Gregory Aggesen, I just want to welcome you and congratulate you for coming up tonight for the webinar. So before we begin, this is going to be a list of lead generation methods. It's meant to be a springboard, not a deep dive. So that means that we're not going to go in depth into any one particular method of lead generation. It's just meant to get your creative juices flowing and to give you some ideas. I know we all know somebody, or we may be somebody that says, okay, I want to share this with people. I'm supposed to share this with 2 people at least, right? The 2 who bring 2. But I don't have any people I want to share it with, or I don't know anybody that might be interested in this. How do I meet more people? How do I generate some leads from my home business? And that's what this is about. So no method in the world is a substitute for knowing your own product, knowing your customer, and being generally a good human being. So there's not going to be a shortcut in this list. It does require work, but it works if you work it. And so, and also, I think it's important to say that you have to find what works for you personally and what fits your personality and your product. So this is a big list. So we're casting a big net here and giving you a lot of ideas. Some of them aren't going to be for you, and some of them are going to be for you. And that's okay. Not everything in the list is going to be your cup of tea. And again, that is okay. So you might think, maybe I'm not so technical, and so maybe this method isn't going to work for me. Or maybe you think, oh, this is really too old school for me. Whatever the case may be, there's going to be something on this list for everybody. And that's what it's intended to be, is to get your motor running here. So let's get started. So, before we go on, you must find a contact management system and use it without fail. This is very important because it doesn't matter how big of a list you can generate if you don't have your list any place in particular. If you just have a bunch of business cards in a drawer somewhere, then your network isn't working to its full potential for you. I really like HubSpot as a good option. They have a good free version if you're a techie like most of us are. And if you like old school, that's fine too. An address book or a business card holder, any way that you want to organize it, but you must have it organized so that it can work for you. Your personal network is probably your most valuable asset that you'll ever have, but it only works if you have some kind of system of understanding it and keeping it up to date. So that said, let's get started. Let's jump right in. So I'm going to start with something that's in most of our own comfort zones, which is Facebook prospecting. Facebook prospecting isn't going to be for everybody, but here's going to be a list of things, a list of ways that you can use Facebook to generate leads. So number 1 is Facebook group posting. You want to stay away from the marketing groups. I know that we've all been in one of those groups where it seems like everybody is a robot except for us, right? And so if you just see a lot of posts, just everybody posting their opportunity and no interaction on any of them, that's probably a waste of your time to post there every day. So I encourage people to stay away from those. It's just mostly just marketers marketing to other marketers, if that makes sense. So one thing that does work is finding real local groups and making friends and actually being social. Or you can also find relevant industry groups. So if you join, for example, for Auto BTC Builder, you could join a cryptocurrency interest group, right? Or you can join a local group of an interest that maybe doesn't have anything to do with cryptocurrency. But if you're able to make new contacts, the goal always is to meet at least 2 new people a day, right? So if you're new to network marketing and you can meet 2 new people a day and put them into your contact management system, then you are winning at network marketing. And so that is the goal. And so you can join groups that have nothing to do with necessarily your home business, but if you're finding and talking to local people, then that is going to up your odds, because it is, again, a numbers game. So strategy number 2 is to join buy and sell groups, and you can post your opportunity there while following the rules. Again, don't spam. Everybody hates a spammer. It's bad karma, and it's bad for everybody else's business as well. So you don't want to spam, but you could say, for example, if I'm going to have a home meeting, let's say that I want to organize a home meeting, and I'm going to give them cookies and Kool-Aid, and I'm going to talk about how they can triple their Bitcoin, right, in ABB. I can promote that kind of a meeting in a local buy-sell group, as long as it's not against the rules, and I can get some local people to show up to my house or wherever I'm having the meeting, and that's a really great way to get people in the door and interested people into the door. which is important as well. People that are already pre-qualified. So be social and be interesting, which means on your own page, on your own wall, pay attention to engagement. When you post something, you want to pay attention to what kind of posts are getting the most reaction, what kind of posts are getting the most engagement, because you should be posting more of that. So if you find that, images are getting more likes and comments, then you want to post that, right? If you find that your text posts are getting more comments, what if you find that your morning posts are more popular than your afternoon posts? So just pay attention to timing and the kind of posts that you're posting, and just really pay attention to how people are engaging with what you're posting. So you can engage with friends and friends of friends on their posts as well, and that gets you more visibility. And I think it's very important to be mindful and purposeful and don't get sucked in. So for example, if Facebook is part of my prospecting plan, right? If I'm trying to meet new people on Facebook, then I'm not just going to be on Facebook all day, because it can be a time suck, right? If I budget 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the afternoon just to post what I'm going to post, interact with some posts, and then I cut myself off, right? Because the point isn't, nobody's going to get paid for just being on Facebook and hanging out. Right? So I think that is important to note as well. So you can Facebook like the big fish, which means you can create a fan page, a business. You can create a fan page as for your business, for your home business, or for yourself as a business person. You can look at other people's successful fan pages and what they're doing, how often are they posting, what are they posting, and what's getting the best results, or what's not working for them as well. You can pre-schedule your post when it's a page, right? Facebook has a built-in feature for that. Which allows you to say, I can post, I can take a couple hours on a Sunday and make all my posts for the week, right? And have it just auto post. And then I just have to check and, maybe reply to comments and stuff like that. So that's a really good way to save time. And then just keep testing different things, trying different things, and seeing how it's going. And if you are techie and interested, you can consider Facebook ads. I would do a lot of research on that before I drop any money on it, but it can be very cost effective. And you can get a big result if you know what you're doing. It's something that I wouldn't recommend you go into blindly. Certainly you want to do your own research and make sure that you know what you're doing before you put any money into it. So contests, you can do Facebook contests. You want to check the local laws about this. Make sure you match the price to action. People will do people respond very well to contests, no matter what you're giving away. Even if it's just a $20 Amazon gift card, you can get people to like things, share things, invite people to groups, do all kinds of things for just a very small price. People get excited. People love to win. People are also competitive. So knowing that about people, you can use Facebook contests to your advantage to grow your following on Facebook if Facebook is part of your plan for marketing. So, but also be aware of the Facebook rules about contests. You don't want to get in trouble and get sent to Facebook jail. So use Facebook for a follow-up. I think that this is actually one of my favorite ways to use Facebook because Facebook can be, if you have several different ways that you're bringing people in the door. Let's say you have an email campaign and you have maybe you have a Twitter campaign, and you have all of these different ways that you have offline stuff. If you have a group on Facebook for your team, right? You can send everybody from all your different places to one Facebook group, and that way you can communicate with them. Not everybody is good about checking their email, but most people, most modern people are on Facebook, and so you can get them into a Facebook group that gives them a place to land, right? Where you can broadcast to them, where people that maybe don't check email or people, aren't really on top of their email will probably see what you put into a Facebook group. So that is what I mean. So we'll move on from Facebook and we'll move on to something that's a little bit more old school, a little more traditional, but I love this. And this is very hot. So it's getting offline leads. Number 6 is business card. And business cards have fallen out of fashion, which is why you should be using them because they aren't as prevalent as they used to be, and they can really make you stand out. You want to make them memorable. You just don't want just a white card with your name and do that. There's a lot of really good programs where you can make your own and print them out at home. You can buy card stock from Office Depot or one of the office stores and print them out for very cheap on your own. But you want to make them really memorable. Make sure they include the benefits of contacting you as well as your contact information, right? So if I give it out, then I want them to have a reason on the card to call me. right? A reason to get in touch with me, and several ways to get in touch with me. Maybe they're an old school phone kind of person. I'm kind of like that myself. And so I give them a phone number, but I also give them maybe an email address. I give them maybe my Facebook profile, several different ways to contact me, and also the benefits. So on this card, for example, which is my actual business card for a while, this was, super moms getting paid online. So if I give this to another mom, right, then she knows, hey, if I call this person, they can tell me how I can maybe work from home, which would be great because I want to stay home with my kids, right? So there's benefits as well as my contact information. And again, spoilers, they don't work if you don't give them out. If you just have them in a drawer somewhere, obviously they're not going to be working for you and it's not worth your time. But they're an easy way to connect with people that you meet on a day-to-day basis. You can give them out, somebody you meet at in the line at the supermarket. Or at the bank or wherever you're going, it's very easy to just say, hey, here's my card. Why don't you, get in touch with me if you're interested in working from home or whatever it is. So let's move forward. So be a billboard. This is another very passive, easy way for people that may be new to network marketing to start a conversation and break the ice. If I had shirts that said, I work from home, ask me how you can too, right? So you start a conversation, you make it very easy for people to approach you. And you want to include a call to action, like ask me how. It's like $20 a piece. I think there's actually cheaper options. It's been a while since I priced them, but I mean, you can probably get them. I think I've seen them at $12 a piece for custom shirts that you can even put your phone number on. But this is a fun, easy way for people that may be a little bit shy to start the conversation themselves to just be a billboard for your own business. So put your card to work. This is the same idea, right? So you want to make it memorable. Strong colors, good text for visibility. You don't want tiny little text because you don't want people getting into an accident trying to read the phone number on it, right? But something that, somebody, if you commute to your job, I know people that commute back and forth an hour a day, your car could be working for you that entire time. Right? Like if you wouldn't be stuck in traffic if you worked from home like me or whatever, right? $75 a pair was last time I priced them, which is very reasonable, and they can last for years. So I highly recommend that as well. Lawn signs, same idea. And these are all very old school, but they're also very memorable, creative, dynamic ways for you to promote your business in a passive way, right? So basically you put your yard to work. You put not only your own yard, but you can put other people's yards to work, right? Like, hey mom, can I put a yard sign up? Oh, sure, right? Or whoever you might have around town, connections that you might have where you can put up a sign. Strong colors and good text size for visibility. Again, $20 to $30 a piece, and if you buy them in bulk, you can probably get them cheaper. So flyers are an oldie but a goodie, right? So just make sure you ask for permission for wherever you're going to put up flyers. Libraries, community centers, coffee shops, churches, stores, the gym, all the different places. Any place where you already see flyers, you can probably put up your flyer. Just make sure to use tabs. You see that this example has tabs at the bottom with your contact information, like the ones that have the cuts on the bottom. You want to make sure that you do that so that somebody doesn't come and just take your whole flyer and then you're out a flyer and you're losing that real estate that you had for advertising. So super cheap. Again, you can do DIY, just print them out at home, and that's super easy and great to do. Maybe set up a reminder to go and check on your flyers, twice a month or something. Just make sure that they're not out of tabs and that they haven't been ripped down. But yes, that's an easy passive way to get leads. Telemarketing. Telemarketing is great. There's no cold calling, but lukewarm, yes. So if you have people that may be interested for whatever reason, maybe you heard that somebody may have come into some money and they may be interested in looking for an investment opportunity. Maybe you have a friend of a friend. So just make sure that you have talking points, no scripts. You don't want to sound like a robot. You want to just be dynamic and friendly. It's great for business to business. And make sure that you leave good messages, because a lot of time you're going to be talking to people's voicemails. I think everybody should do some calling just to lose that fear of no that we have of somebody saying, no, I'm not interested. That's not the end of the world, right? And I think sometimes we overestimate how terrible the no could be. But no is just that. It's just no. That person in particular is not interested. It's not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of the opportunity that you're offering. Just that person in particular in that moment isn't interested. And so you just say next, right? And so when it is a numbers game, like in this case, where you just want to share it with as many people as possible, right? And so some of them aren't going to be interested, and that's okay. But I think that calling is great for that because it's a little less intimidating than in person, right? But it's a little bit more putting yourself out there than perhaps, Facebook marketing and things like that. It's a little bit more personal. So let's move forward here. Direct mail. This is great for follow-ups. If you talk to somebody who, if I'm courting a big leader, and I happen to have their address, I love to send them something in person. It has better open rates than email most times. Because when was the last time that you received a handwritten card? Most of us probably can't remember, right? And when you receive a handwritten thank you note, wow, that's shocking. That's shocking, and that's very memorable, right? So if you're courting somebody that's a big player, or you're trying to get somebody to agree with something that they might not be inclined to agree with, this can be a great way to get your foot in the door and to really show that you really care, and that you're interested in them. So handwriting envelope, again, same concept. Old school networking is just talking about your work with people that you meet, right? And this is a very normal part of conversation, right? When you meet somebody new and they say, oh, what do you do? Oh, I do this. Oh, I work from home, actually. And then they say, oh, wow, I'd love to work from home. So just being open and talking about what you do for a living can be great. I think that sometimes we're worried that people will be like, oh, network marketing, I don't know. But really, the overall response to it is very positive, especially if you put the focus on, I get to work from home. I get to work from the beach. I get to work from my cell phone. I mean, that's so exciting for people, especially people that have big commutes or people that want to be home with their children and they can't because they have to work, things like that. It can be huge selling points in this lifestyle. So leverage existing connections, right? Which means just, talking to people that you already know, and mentioning them, hey, so what are you up to these days? And listening to them and saying, oh, well, and then they're going to say, oh, well, what about you? What are you doing these days, right? And they say, oh, I'm working from home now, or I started my own business, right? And then that opens the door for them asking questions, and maybe they're interested. So making new connections, 2 new connections a day, we talked about that. Go-sees, coffee dates, social clubs, at-home meetings. We talked a little bit about this earlier as well. These are in-person ways. I think in-person is so personal, and it has some built-in trust as well. I think sometimes we're frightened to maybe accept an idea or an opportunity from somebody that we've only met online, because we say, okay, so I don't know this person from Adam, right? It's kind of like this mystery person online. But when you can meet somebody in person and shake their hand, that gives a whole another level of trust and intimacy between you and the other person, that can make it easier for them to say yes to wanting to work with you. So taking out an ad, local newspaper, HOA newsletters, church newsletters, it can be, it's almost universally cheap, and it may actually be free. For example, church newsletter, you may be, just because you're part of the congregation, you may just be able to get a free ad in there. There's all kinds of other publications, local publications, trade publications that you could take out a cheap ad, and people will do it. This usually works the best, I find, if I'm promoting something. For example, if I have a recurring Tuesday afternoon meeting at my house that just anybody can drop in, right? If I have that and then I can promote that in these different outlets, then that works very well. It's a little bit harder to use classified ads to promote something that's online only, but it's awesome to get local leads, and that's a really good idea here. So let's getting leads through content creation. So let's move back from offline and let's go back online, and we're going to talk about content creation. So the way that content creation works is basically you're going to create a catalyst. You're going to create a magnet, something that's going to attract people. It's going to be content. It has to be valuable for them, right? But it's going to position you hopefully as an expert in the field, and it's going to allow you to come in contact with people that could be good leads for your business. That's the concept. So you always want to go with your natural strengths. If you are super camera shy, then probably, being a YouTube content creator is probably not the way for you, right? If you have a beautiful radio voice, maybe podcasts could be your thing. So you want to be honest with yourself about what your natural strengths are and where your comfort zone is. and go from there. So you want to make it useful or entertaining. Again, that's where you're giving something to the community, and in exchange, you're getting contact with people that, again, could be good leads. So you want to know your platform well as well, which means whatever platform you are creating your content on, you want to become an expert at it. You want to tie it back into your sales funnel. You always want to make sure that whatever you're creating, it's not just content creation for the love of art. I mean, unless that's just your thing, and you're just going to put beautiful content out into the world, and that's just a charity effort on your behalf. You want to make sure that you always tie it back to your sales funnel. Always have it. Always be asking, okay, I'm creating this content. How is this serving me on the back end? And then you want to cross promote your content across platforms, which means that if I create a YouTube video, I can spin that YouTube video, make the script into a blog post, right? And then I can promote that blog post on Facebook, and then I can tweet it out on Twitter too. So you want to cross promote your content. That way, for one piece of content that you took the time to create, you're getting lots of different, you're getting all the juice out of it. You're milking it for all it's worth. Here we go. So moving forward, so YouTube is a great, easy platform to get started on. You can make your title search friendly, right? So if I'm creating if I'm creating an educational video about cryptocurrency, I want to think about, what is somebody searching for that my video is the answer to, right? And that should be my title. That's going to be my title, is whatever somebody would be searching for that my video would be a great answer for. So give a robust description with links to your funnel. You're able to add a description to your YouTube videos. You want to make sure that you do that. You want to create playlists and link your other videos in the description. That means the more time people are on your channel, the more exposure to you that they get, the more likely they are to want to work with you, to want to click on your links and check out what else you have going on. And then also check out tags that others are using in your same niche, right? So whatever you're creating videos about, look at other content creators and what kind of tags they're using and how they're doing things, and learn from that and try different things on and see if some of those things work for you as well. So number 16 is be a blogger. If you love to write, if you have any talent on that, the written word, and that's your thing, then commit to writing on a regular basis. There are a lot of cheap or free blogging platforms. If you're not super techy, it doesn't matter. WordPress.com, for example, or Blogger, which is Google's blogging platform. Those are very easy to use, very easy to learn, to be successful at it, you have to commit to writing on a regular basis, right? So say, okay, I'm gonna blog once a week, and then you want to stay on topic, which means, remember, the reason behind you doing this is because you are trying to get people to come into your funnel. So what are you going to blog about? And once you decide what you're going to blog about, then stay in that general topic. Don't be all over the place, because then that just dilutes your message, dilutes your influence. So you want to share your posts and make them easy to share, which any of those platforms are going to have share buttons on it. You just have to enable them and make sure that your posts can be easily shared on social media. And you want to make your content search friendly. So this is what we talked about with YouTube, where you want to think, okay, what would somebody be searching for that my blog post is going to be an awesome answer to, right? And then you want to include some of those phrases in your blog post in a natural way, but you want to make sure that Google recognizes, or any of the search engines recognizes, that what your blog post is about. Let's move on here. Sorry, guys. Okay, so number 17 is have a website. If you're even more techie, which some of us are, it's usually less maintenance to have a website. It may be a little bit, depending on, well, that's not true anymore. There are a lot of website creator platforms that are very easy to use, where you can launch your own website on yourname.com or whatever you'd like it to be. And then once you have a website set up, you can get it listed all over the web. There's lots of free directories where you can go and submit your website, and they will list it in their directory and make you easier to be found. So you want to make, again, your content needs to be search friendly. So that's just always having in mind, what would somebody be Googling, right? Or what would somebody be looking for in a search engine that my website should pop up, right? And make sure you use that kind of language in the content, the written content on your website, so that your website becomes very easy to find for people. Including an opt-in form and social media links. This is a no-brainer, an opt-in form for your email list, right? So you get set up with a platform like Aweber. I think they even have like a free, I believe they still have a free option, Aweber does, where you can get free up to, I think, 1,000 subscribers. And so then you set up a list with Aweber, and you get a form, an HTML form, and install it on your website. And that way people can follow you. You can say, sign up to my newsletter, and people opt into your newsletter, and then they get emails to you, and you could broadcast to them. You can send them emails. So you want to make sure that you have some place for them to give them your email, their email, give you their email. And then you also want to make sure you have links to your other social media so that they can follow you everywhere that you are. Right, is be artistic. If you have any kind of artistic talent, which I don't, you want to create beautiful images that people want to share. That's very useful for things like Instagram, things like Pinterest, those visual platforms. You can get a big following from there and get in touch with people that may be interested in your business. Infographics and motivational images work the best for this. So for example, I saw a beautiful image the other day, which was the history of Bitcoin, and it just had a visual representation of all of the big Bitcoin milestones, and it was amazing. And of course, the artist had their name and their website at the bottom of it, and so that you get in contact with people that are on your same wavelength and interested in the same things that you're interested in, and they're pre-qualified leads for the things that you're doing in your home business. So you want to include a watermark again, which is your name, or probably your website, or even your email or your Facebook page. And then you just want to share them. Learn to use the platforms where you're sharing them on. If that's Instagram or that's Pinterest or whatever, you want to make sure that you're using hashtags that are descriptive, right? So if I shared, for example, if it had been mine, that image of that, the history of Bitcoin, I would put hashtag Bitcoin, hashtag cryptocurrency, right? So that way people that are talking about those subjects are going to see my images, and then they can share them as well, and I get more exposure. So let's move forward here. And for anybody on this call right now that may not be a super techie person, that's okay, right? Because we talked about some of the things on the list may not be up your alley, and that's okay. But I don't want to lose anybody in the weeds here, so I'm not going too deep into it. These are just ideas that we can draw from and get inspiration from. So number 19 is to be an author. So if you are interested in the written word and you have any talent from that, you can write an ebook about something that you're an expert at. It can be short, right? It can be, I've seen them as short as a couple thousand words. And that's not actually very long at all, right? It doesn't have to be about cryptocurrency. It can be about anything that you're an expert on. But you're going to offer your ebook as an incentive for opting into your list or joining your Facebook group. That's a great way to use an ebook. And you can also submit your ebook to ebook libraries across the web with a link that leads back to you, because again, we're tying everything back into our sales funnel, right? We're tying everything back into your lead generation machine that you've built. So number 20 is be a virtual teacher. Again, this is the same idea. You're going to position yourself as an expert on something, which is the same idea as the ebook, right? So if you're the expert on something, then people are more likely to follow you into other things. So if you use a site like Udemy, you can create a free video course. Sorry, not a free. You can actually create a free one, but you can also sell them, right? You can create a video course and use it as lead bait, or you can host the course on your own website using a membership plugin for WordPress. So anybody that already has a WordPress site, that's a very easy thing to set up. All right, so number 21 is to create an email course. This is the same idea. Again, content creation is all about positioning yourself as an expert and an influencer in your industry. So you can write a series of useful emails and add them to your autoresponder, and then you set them up to go out in order once a day, right? So that could be, something like this webinar right here. Like, you want to learn how to prospect, you want to learn how to generate some leads, and then each day, so they opt into your list, and then each day they get, part 1 or part 2 or part 3 of your email series that teaches people how to do exactly that, or teaches them how to do anything that you know how to do. So make sure you include calls to action, right? Things that they need to do. So again, this is not free charity content. It is free content, but it's not charity content, which means it needs to point back to you at some point, right? It needs to point back to your lead generation machine that you've built, your sales funnel. So invite people to opt into your free email course to get them on your list, and then you can broadcast to them, then you can market to them. So that is the end of part 1 of this series. I'm going to be doing part 2 tomorrow night, which we usually don't have a Friday webinar. I'm going to actually stop recording here.